Hello, welcome to a brand new video on creating a first-person shooter within Unity. Obviously, you'll be doing loads of different things than I am within this tutorial, so you have to sort of, again, take this and kind of fly with it. And sort of create your own FPS from there with your own enemies, obstacles, prototyping and everything like that. So what we're going to do is first of all, instead of sort of messing around with first person controllers and sort of prototyping tools and things like that, we're gonna download something like a package, and which can really help us get on the road really quickly. So by the end of this session, I really want us to be able to have an enemy that's going to follow us around. That would just be a capsule, that would just be a placeholder for now, and then we'll throw that around, but also have a prototype level, and then you can create another scene and then make your actual game. But we're going to make sure all our mechanics and everything work within this prototype level, and then from there put this into a proper terrain. So the first things we're going to do is, as I said, we're going to download a package. And if we go onto Google Chrome, I've already searched it up, and if I just click here, I just search standard assets at the top, and down below, as you can see, we have standard assets here. If we click on this here, and then it loads here. So I would have probably downloaded this before, so I can just open this in Unity. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. There's lots of things in here that we need, and also lots of things in here that we don't need, so let's have a look at that. So what I'm going to do is click open in Unity, and these should talk to each other. So as you can see, it's just loading the package now. It's asking me to sign in. Typical, no worries. There is standard assets. Cool. So lovely. What we'll do is click download. And it's around nearly 200 megabytes, but we're not going to import everything, otherwise it would just be so slow. But there are some things that we need, and some utilities within standard assets that we need as well. So what we'll do is I'll probably speed this bit of video up once I stop talking, and once this is downloaded, we can see what assets are definitely needed and that we definitely need to import. So this little import package box has popped up. What I'm going to do is initially just close all of these. Let's see what we've got here. So just have a look what we've got and what we haven't got. Nearly there. There's a fair amount here. So this is why we definitely don't want everything. Okay, so probably the things that we aren't looking for when we download the assets are, I'm definitely not going to need any 2D. Not going to do any 2D. Any kind of UI we'll create ourselves and add in. So we don't need any of that. I saw something about physics materials. I'm not really worried about that. And vehicles, don't need that, and that could take up a lot of spoon. A lot of space. Everything else, I think I am going to take forward just to help us out, and click import there. So this shouldn't take too long. Lovely, so that's all downloaded, and we can now see that we've got standard assets here. Cool, so the first thing we need to do is we need to find a folder called prototyping. We click on there, we've got materials, models, shaders, prefabs and things like that. Let's have a look in prefabs, what we've got. Lots of lovely different things. Let's just go into models. Lovely, so do we have, we've got some platform, ramp. Just so if we have a test round, what I'm looking for, floor platform, we just got a simple, so we're going to build a very basic prototype level here. So I'm just going to type in floor, so it pops up. want anything really truly flat, like a plane. Okay, something like that. That's good. So if we drag this in, this is going to be quite big, but that's fine. And I'm going to set this to 0, 0, 0. Lovely. So make sure I'm back into my models, and here I'm just going to start creating a real nice basic prototype level, so my character controller can sort of test going up and down different objects and things like that. So what I'll do is I'll stop the video and I'll come back and with a completed prototype level. If you're following along minute by minute, make sure you create yourself a prototype level as well using these assets. Cool. Hello. So as you can see, I'm back and I've created my prototype level. Again, I just used the prefab props from the prototyping folder. I then went into materials, found some bits of materials as you can see there, and dragged all of those on to my objects just to give it a bit of flair and a bit of color and to show again, just very basic prototype, and helps me navigate around my level having these textures for this basic prototyping. And again, make sure you're doing a prototype level to test your FPS controller and test mechanics, okay? So I could always add blocks and more walls in here when enemies are attacking me and things like that. But it's really important that we make sure that it tests all mechanics. So I've got stairs, I can jump off things, try and jump on top of platforms, try and break the controller as much as possible, and then try to fix it within this level as well. So you try and make it the most complex, but the most basic as well. So what we're going to do, as you can see in my layers, I've got lots and lots and lots of different assets. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a brand new empty. So go to Game Object, and create an empty, and I'm just going to call this Environment. Click Enter, and then I'm going to highlight all of my assets. Make sure I don't get my rigid body first person controller. There we go. Also, just to test out my level, wherever my rigid body controller is, actually I'm going to move him. And then probably rotate on. There we go. Go back a bit. There we go. Fantastic. So he shouldn't be stuck in the ground, but we can. No, that looks good. So there is my controller. If you're wondering where I got him from, all I did was I went down to my project, typed in FPS, and I chose my rigid body FPS controller prefab asset and dragged him in there. And I'm very, very happy with him. He's doing the job. So if we then play our game, we can see that I can look round, and I can also jump using spacebar. Let's go over here. So can I jump up on there? I should be able to. There we go. I can jump and investigate my scene. I don't know how we'll react with stairs yet. So I'm going to jump up those stairs. There we go. Cool. I'm happy with this. This creates a nice scene for me to test my character and eventually my enemies. Okay, so what I'm going to do, make sure you press escape so you can get your cursor back so you can press play. Make sure you save your prototype level as well. The next thing we're going to do is, so we've got our level. What should we do next? Cool, let's have a look at our enemy. Let's see if we can add an enemy in here. So we're going to do a placeholder enemy for now. And what we can do is go to Game Objects, go to 3D Object, go to Capsule. There we go, there's a brand new Capsule. He's just fitted in place of right where our controller is, I think. So I might just move him over here. That's probably the best place for him. Let's double click, where is he at the moment? So let's put him over there. Fantastic. So he's our enemy. is currently here. Fantastic. So I think let's pop him above there, put him down there, just like that. Lovely. So first thing I'm going to do is rename him to enemy. And the next thing we're going to do once we've called him an enemy, we are going to make sure that we have, we're going to create a NavMesh for him. So we're going to straight away kick into getting the enemies chasing us, getting into the main mechanics and using this prototype level to our advantage. So what we're going to do, go to Window, go to AI and go to Navigation. What this will do will open a brand new tab next to your lighting and inspector. Okay, so the first thing we need to do first is have a think about navigation and when navigation works. I do have a video on creating navigation before. If you haven't got it, I'll go through it very, very briefly with you. So once for objects, moving objects to work around other objects and to avoid other objects to come as for our enemy to chase us, everything else within our environment, so our environment here, needs to be static. So what we're going to do is on object, we're going to select all of these objects because these are just all going to be static objects. As you can see, when it says navigation static, we're just going to check tick. So is there anything that I wouldn't want to be walkable within my scene? Probably those houses. So let's find all of those houses. We've got one house. Let's just click on each one and then go not walkable. And where's my other house? Other house, not walkable. And house. I think, is it there? Here we go. Cool, lovely. So I'm only going to make my houses within my scene not walkable because I think that'd be a bit inappropriate walking on the roofs and things like that. And it's a good example of showing how we can get the rest of our NavMesh working as well. So once we've done that, what we can do is close that. Let's go into enemy, and we are going to add a NavMesh agent to our enemy. So if I say NavMesh agent, there we go, pops up. Cool. So this will be essentially allowing our enemy to walk around all of these objects and things like that. So at the moment we can't actually see what we can navigate around within our objects because that means we haven't baked our area. So if we go back to navigation, instead of objects now we're going to go on to bake. And this is our got default settings for our NavMesh agent, so our enemy. And what we're going to do, if we click bake, we can see, cool, it's not too bad. We can see that there's elements of the stairs that are characters can walk on. Obviously they can't walk on the stairs, the houses at all, because we made them not walkable, but this isn't looking too bad at all, so I'm quite happy with this at the moment. So what we can do is try and let's have a look at that step range. If we change that to 1 and press rebake this again then allows us, so there are some issues here for our enemy. We want him to be allowed to be able to go up all of these and chase us up here. So I might just put this to 1.5 and rebake again. There we go, slowly getting there. Might have to put this just to 2 just to see what this does. There's bits and bobs. It's not too sure about those stairs, is it? So let's try 4. Might not like that. So step height should be less than the agent height. Okay, so let's try 3. Can we try 2.5? Oh no, it doesn't like that. 2.1. So 2 seems to be the maximum we can do at the moment for our NavMesh. So what we can do, we can change the slope. We can make it lower or higher. Make it a bit higher and add our bake. That's not changed much, is it? So those stairs there that he's going to probably have some hard time with, but maybe that's a good idea. Not too sure yet. Let's have a look at this. So if we just go onto our enemy, maybe we could make him a little bit taller, maybe. So let's 2. Oh, won't make him very long. So let's back to 1. Grab this and could try that. Yeah. So let's try 1.2. Yeah. So again, it's all trial and error, but again, this is our prototype level. So let's just go back to our navigation. See if we can change this to 2.5. I probably might have to change it within our NavMesh agent. So if I go back to enemy, inspector, height 2, we can probably change that to, let's change that to 2.5 and go back to, keep enemy just at 1 then if that's the case. Change environment, navigation, we can go step height 2.5. Oh, I changed it, you fool. Cool. Well, I'm going to test this out because you can get us in the majority of areas. I might just have to work on the stairs later. I don't want to be here for all day. So yeah, it's trial and error. Stairs are going to be the most difficult for a NavMesh agent, but we can see how that works. You might even just climb up those stairs and have no problems at all. So he can get them and get us everywhere. So maybe that's a good idea that he can't quite get us up here just at these first couple of steps. He might be able to, we never know. So what we're going to do then is keep that at 2 and bake. Lovely. So let us go to assets, go to scripts. I've already created a scripts folder. So in that scripts folder, I'm going to create a brand new script. And I'm going to call this enemy AI. Once I've done that, I'm going to add this to my enemy. Oh, it hasn't finished compiling. There we go. Let's just make sure on inspector enemy is in there. Enemy AI script. Lovely, fantastic. So what we're going to do is double click on the script. Opens up in Visual Studio. Cool. So the first thing we're going to do is we need to call up our target as well as our the NavMesh agent itself. So if we type in public transform and call that our target, so our target would be the player, and then we're going to create a private NavMesh, and as you can see, NavMesh hasn't popped up, and that's because we haven't added it to a utility that we're using within Unity. So up the top, we need to say using unity.engine, no, Unity engine, sorry, apologies, Unity engine.ai, there we go, semicolon. Then what this will allow us to do, if we delete that, if we then go private NavMesh agent, this should pop up, there we go, cool, and we're just going to call this agent just to make life a lot easier. So our NavMesh agent that is in our inspector or our component needs to be called up, so we need to say that agent equals to get component, and that is our NavMesh agent, close brackets, lovely, fantastic. Then in update, what we're going to say is agent dot set destination, and we're going to say target dot position. So it's going to find where we are, so where the player is. So the player is the target. Okay, so if we quickly Command S or Control S and save this. Lovely jubbly. So what we're going to do is if we click on the enemy, we can have a look down at the enemy script, and it's asking for our target, which is going to be our player. So that's our rigid body. So let's actually click on our player and actually change this to player at the top here, so there's no confusion. Click on that, have a look at our script, drag our player into there. Fantastic. Quickly save this, press play. Lovely. So as I'm walking around, oh, there he is. He's coming after us. Oh, he's over. So now got a bit of stickiness on the objects, but he seems to. Let's check out these stairs. See how well he works with these. Can he get up the stairs? Oh, he can. He pushing me off. Oh, let's see if I can get by him. So he's doing quite well. I didn't quite go up those stairs though, did I? So let's see if he can. I don't think he can fit through there. He can fit through there. We've made him quite a robust. He is persistent and he is working. That is good. So I'm happy about that anyway. So he can run for us everywhere. Wicked. I'm glad that's working. Okay, so once we've got that all working, we've tested our scene, we've made sure it works. Let's create a prefab folder. So if you go to Assets, right click, and folder, and call this prefab. Lovely. And what we're going to do is we're going to make our enemy a prefab, so we can use him and spawn lots of different versions of him. Cool. So let's save that. What we can then do is we can have a look at creating a radius or a range for where if we get too close to our enemy, he will then chase us. So what we're going to do is if we go back into our enemy scripts, so let's go to Assets, Scripts, Enemy AI. So there's two components that we need here, or two more variables, sorry. So the first one is it's going to be a private float, and we're going to call this, make sure, a private float, and we're going to call this chase radius. So chase radius, there we go, and that can equal 5f. So the radius around our enemy will be 5f, and then if we go into or under 5f, closeness or distance from our enemy, he will then begin to chase us. So what we're going to do, because we've made this private, we're going to serialize this field. There we go, serialize that field. And then we need to create another variable, which is a little bit more confusing, but I will explain it, and that is also a private float. And this is called a, we'll name this distance to target, so how far away our player is to our enemy. And what this needs is mathsf.infinity. Okay, and this essentially, infinity allows us any kind of number. Essentially, that's what infinity is. But allows us to be quite open and add any number to the distance from the player to the enemy. So once we have that, within update, what we need is, let's just make some space there. I'm going to make another gap. Lovely. What we need to say is that our distance to target equals a new vector 3, because it's a new position, not vector. Make sure we can spell this correctly. New vector 3, oh my days. A new vector 3 dot distance. So it's going to be measuring the distance between our player, which is target dot position, and ourselves. So that's just transform dot position. Lovely. Then we need to say if our distance to target is greater or equal to the chase radius, well then we can say our agent, if our distance to target is less than or equal to our chase radius, so less than 5f, then our agent will come and find us. So let's cut that, paste that into there, save that script, go back into Unity. Lovely, so if we press play, he shouldn't follow us. Aha, awesome. So let's have a look at this. Let's walk over to him. Let's see if we can activate him. There we go, we've activated him. Yep. So hopefully we should be able to get far enough away from him that he doesn't. There we go, it's happened. He hasn't chased us again. So there we go. We've achieved to get the distance of 5 f away from him, and then he stops chasing us. But then if we get too close, oh, I'm jittering there a bit. Might have to sort that out a little bit. There we go, he's chasing us again, and then we go do. See if he can climb his stairs. I don't think he can. Oh no, he's caught me. There we go, he stopped again. So if we get too close, where's that 5F? There he is, then that's activated again. Brilliant, fantastic. So let's try and get away from him again. There we go, and then he slows down because we've beaten him by 5. Brilliant. So let's escape out of this. A little bit of jittering there. I need to maybe have a look at this player because we've just brought this in and haven't really had a look at it, have we? Yeah. Movement settings, look settings, advanced settings. Let's have a look. What's in our main camera? Head bob. That could be creating a bit of a weird thing with our main camera. Gonna leave it for now. If he keeps bugging us, I will edit that. Cool, lovely. The last thing we need to do is, it would be good if we could see the radius of our enemy. So if we have a look around here, it would be good if we could see the actual radius within our game scene, wouldn't it? So there's a way that we can do that. So what we need to do is go, let's have a look on Unity Scripting API. And what we need to look for is, I think it's known as Gizmos. Let's have a look. Awesome. So, Gizmos.drawWireSphere. This could help. Lovely, okay. This could help us out. We don't need any of this or that. So what we need to do is, looking at this, on draw Gizmos selected, let's see if we can get this implemented into our enemy script. Let's double click back onto there. Let's quickly just close that up, and we are going to make a brand new void. Was it on, I'll look at it again. On draw Gizmo selected. So on draw Gizmo selected. Lovely, fantastic. So let's have a look at this. So that says gizmos.color equals color.white. Okay, so let's say gizmos.color, so the color of our area. Gizmos.color equals color dots. Let's change it to red because it's our enemy. And let's have a look at gizmos.draw. Okay, so that'd be gizmos. Dot draw wiresphere. There it is. And let's say it's for our enemy, which is transform dot position. Transform dot position. And then we can say dot, comma, chase radius. So it'll be going around our radius. Okay, so let's save this and see if this gizmo has worked. Doesn't seem to be appearing, does it? That's interesting. Is it when we play our game? No, it doesn't, does it? Interesting. So, did it need to be a private void? Let's see if we take off private. Let's mark it. Yeah, surely it would. No, it doesn't like it. Private on the public void. Let's just save that. See if this works. What did Unity say? Unity said just void, so maybe it is just a void. Oh, let's come out of play. Press play again. Very interesting that that's not working. So if we go on our enemy, radius, there it is. Oh, fantastic. Maybe we have to be clicked on our enemy. There we go. So, and then we can change our radius from here. So at the moment 5 was quite small, so we could probably put it up a little bit. And then again, now you can watch my scene view from the top, that once my player gets into, you can't see my player on, there we go, there's that camera, and there he goes, starts attacking us. Fantastic, so there we go, that's how. Now I now need to fix myself, see if I can get out of his range. This now proves very difficult trying to get out of his range because I've increased it. There we go, he's gone. Fantastic. Brilliant. See if I can dart through him there. Oh no, he's gone for me. Nah. Awesome, lovely. So we've got a fair amount implemented already into our game. We have our enemy AI with a placeholder chasing us, and we've also created a chase radius. Cool. See you soon.